Welcome back to another episode of Girls Know Nothing. I have Alara with me today from the newest dating show on Netflix. Loud one if you couldn't hear already. She is from the dating show Dated and Related?
Yeah,
Dating and Related.
I know,
Dated.
listen. It doesn't sound like what it is, so...
Yeah, because when I first heard the name, I was like,
No, listen.
I thought it was going to be some weird documentary on incest. But then I saw the trailer and was like,
Yeah, I get that often. But it's basically my brother wingmans for me and I wingman for him. So
How was that?
Oh my gosh, crazy. Like, my brother is so overprotective. And to see him with the men that I'm dating was crazy. Because he acted like he didn't care. But I know my brother. He cared. And he didn't want me to be with that man. But it's fine.
So... I haven't watched all of the episodes. How successful was he at wingman and you?
Listen, I ended up finding someone, so he was.
Oh, okay.
He was good.
Fair enough, fair play. Maybe you can give my brother some tips as well while we're at it. If you're watching Adam, step up a little bit more.
Oh, come on, Adam.
But no, like that's how was that whole experience for you?
Do you know what? I think it brought my brother and I a lot closer than what we originally were, which we are very close. He's literally my best friend. But it was so surreal, like having cameras all the time on you, like, because I can't be fake. So when they say to you, right, go and talk to someone, I'm like, but I want to do it on my own accord, you know?
Yeah.
So it was crazy. And I was nervous a lot at the beginning, but as time went on, I did get more comfortable. But yeah, it was amazing. And to have been given this opportunity to do something, give me a little, career support. I don't know how to say it, but
that's the thing, like with Netflix shows, it's not just, people in the UK that are watching it or like wherever it's aired. It's literally any country in the world that has Netflix.
Trust me, I had German people messaging me, Brazilians, like everyone. I'm like, what? And I speak Brazilian and
Portuguese?
French, everything. I can't believe it. I'm like, that's what I sound like. Are you okay? Like, I didn't even get anyone close to like my voice. I was disappointed.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
That's disappointing. But like, how do you find now, like transitioning from, I don't know what you did before.
Yeah, so I was a full-time student. I've just graduated. I think it's been a month and a half now, or 2 months. So I graduated from fashion design degree. And yeah, I want to do something with fashion, obviously.
So I guess that's kind of being on that dating show has probably benefited your career.
100%. Yeah, definitely. I want to definitely do something in fashion, and Dating and Related has given me this opportunity.
So how did you find transitioning from being a student to now being a Netflix sensation?
I wouldn't say quite that at the moment, but it's mad trying to like message people, posting all the time, because obviously I want people to see what I'm getting up to. And yeah, I am so fortunate and I'm so grateful to have, obviously, like, the support from all these people that I don't know. Like, thinking about there's actually people out there supporting you that don't know you or you've never spoken to.
Do you find it weird that people feel like they do know you?
Yes. They're like, like about the guy that I dated was Kieran. And a lot of them like know things about me and him, and that they know my star sign and my date of birth. Like, I'm like, my family doesn't even know my date of birth. How is that possible? But yeah.
Oh, no, I can relate to that. My dad gave me my 18th birthday card like 2 years after my 18th birthday.
Wait, no.
So at least the strangers on the internet know what your birthday is, right?
I know, crazy.
So actually speaking with you today, before we started recording the podcast, you told me that you're a proud Turkish, I'm going to get my tongue twisted. How do you even say it?
Turkish Cypriot, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's very warm in this room. But I noticed...
Get out.
Need aircon, but I noticed you didn't say it on the show.
Yeah, so I'm Turkish Cypriot and I've lived majority of my life there. My parents are separated. My dad lives over there, so I go there quite often. But yeah, I am a proud Turkish Cypriot, and we forgot to mention it on the show. So
why do you feel like it wasn't mentioned on the show?
We did actually mention it, but I think like so much editing goes on, and they chose to not put it in. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that trying to get everything into one episode is virtually impossible. But then again, for me, like I'm aware that it can misportray people. So how do you feel like after watching the episodes, how do you feel like you were portrayed on the show? Do you feel like it was accurate?
100%. I think I got my personality across. I can't be fake in front of the camera, so they got exactly like what I am and who I am. Yeah, I think it was quite accurate. I can't say that word. Accurate.
It's a lot of tongue tying going on in this room today.
The thing is, my first language isn't English, so I muddle up my words all the time.
You wouldn't be able to tell. My first language is English, and I muddle up my words all the time. No, but that's at least like it's good that you feel like you did come across as you are as a person, and then you don't have to like have that whole battle.
Yeah.
But obviously, after coming off a show like that, like I've had guests who've been on reality TV on the podcast, and a lot of the time we talk about mental health after leaving a show as big as like, you know, dated and related.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your mental health's actually been impacted by going on the show?
I am actually so fortunate because I've got my brother with me. I've got a family member during the recording of the whole show. So I had his support. And we are lucky enough to have such a close family where we can all talk about everything. If we got hate, we'd go and talk to our family or anything like that. So I haven't really had anything to do with, I don't know how to say it. How do you say it? Like,
mental health struggles,
Yeah, I haven't really had any mental health struggles. Thank God. I hope I don't. Yeah. I try to look at every situation positively. I would class myself as not a negative person. In any situation, I just try and find the positive. So.
But no, you said you've left the show is it in a relationship or are you just dating?
Ooh.
Am I about to get someone in trouble? I'm sorry.
No, so the guy I was with was a little game player, I'd say. No, I'm joking. No, basically, we returned back from the show and he did not message me for 2 weeks after we came back from the show.
After living together?
After sleeping in the same bed. I know. I kissed him every day.
I am getting you in trouble.
And yeah, it was shocking because we talked about seeing each other outside and meeting family and just spending time. And to come back and not have even a message saying, did you have a safe flight, was like, right, okay, like you could have been a bit more real about that. But yeah, so I am single as a Pringle. I mean.
So you're not dating?
No.
Because I was going to ask about like how it is to have a relationship in the public eye for you, but if you're
no.
If you're not, do you find that's a struggle then? If like to have made a connection with somebody on a show like that and then feel like you've been played for the sake of the show?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think as soon as I came back, I was like, shit, he must have played a game. How can you say all these things to someone and then come back and not even message like, hi, how are you? Or anything like that. It just put and then my family was like, Alara, you just need to realise like people aren't like you, So I think my feelings were a lot more genuine than him. But on the show, they made it seem like I was obsessed with him. I was not. I rejected 2 guys on there and they didn't put that in. They just put me in. I know you haven't watched it, so you don't know, but they put me literally aggressively going for Kieran. Like I was constantly saying like, I want Kieran, I'm going to get him, blah, blah, blah. But I was actually, yeah.
Do you feel like they wanted to I feel like with women on dating shows like that, they really actively try to portray them as like obsessive women chasing boys around the villa when it's not necessarily like that. And did you get annoyed like knowing that that's what they portrayed it as?
Yeah, 100%. Like I never make the first move. And in there, even with messages, I can't message a guy first. He needs to do. I like a guy that's a gentleman, so I like him to do the first move. And in there, it was not like that. I was making the first moves, and I was like out of my comfort zone. And I believe everything does happen when you're out of your comfort zone. So it did show me that I do I am a lot more confident than what I am. Like watching back.
I would never doubt your confidence. And the moment you're in here, like everybody in this building could hear you. So
why does everyone say that?
There is no way in hell that I would ever think you are not a confident person. But I think that's really good, like to hear that you are confident and you haven't had those mental health struggles, because it is really challenging. Like, we were having conversations off camera about what it's like to be projected into the public eye so quickly, rather than like steady growth, and how hard that can be, and like, you know, trying to navigate your way now in terms of your career. So, you know, what do you see yourself like potentially doing now? Like, I know you said you wanted to go into fashion, but what's like the goal?
My end goal is to have my fashion brand. I have a vision that I don't think no one else has. It's something out there, unique, stuff that you've never seen before. And yeah, I want to that is my end goal. But for now, I think I just want to build my brand and yeah, get my name out there.
So what does brand Alara look like?
Ooh, that's it.
And she was like, go easy on me. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like,
I would say quite unique. And I wouldn't want everyone to like the brand. I want it to be specific people. I just want it to be controversial.
Like when Gucci sent Louis Vuitton sent Gucci bags out to certain people, so they didn't want them to be seen wearing Louis Vuitton. Is it going to be like that?
I don't know. Yeah, I've got a lot more to look into, because I know that having a brand means successful team behind you. Like, you need someone that's talented to work with you on the designs, and someone that you can trust, you know, to get you out there. So I think it's going to be a long process. But yeah, I'm excited, and I'm so determined to, you know, build something that's different.
So I'm a bit of a nosy person, and I'm sure everybody that's watching will also want to know, when you leave reality TV, DMs get a little bit juicy. So what blue ticks are in the DMs right now?
I can't confirm. I can't see anything.
You can't see your blue that is the worst cop-out answer I have ever heard.
I have had quite a few basketball players, and I can't. No, I'm not going to say anything else.
That's enough. Wait, are we talking NBA basketball?
I don't know.
She didn't deny it, so I'm going to take that as a yeah. But Kieran, you should have just sent the text.
Sharon said it.
But no, that's like obviously moving away from the show, because I don't want, you know, this whole podcast, I really want to get to know the guests personally. And I know you were really worried about having like this deep conversation, but you know, it's really important to be able to actually show there is more sides to people than just what you see on screen. And, you know, from speaking with you, you know, there's one thing that we do have in common, and that's that we both looked after our mums, like, were suffering from cancer. And I know that it's obviously a really tough conversation to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't even start already.
Don't. Like, you know, from experience, like, it took me ages to be able to get around to talking about it without being upset. You know, I don't actually know much about your experience with it, or your mum's experience with it. So, like, you know, what was it like when she was first diagnosed? Like, how did that whole come about?
Yeah, so, sorry.
Take your time, don't be silly.
So, we found out near Christmas, and it's something like you think, oh, it wouldn't happen to my family. And yeah, we got the news, and it was stage 3. So, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. So we immediately moved to Wales, where we could get a better support system. But yeah, it was the worst year of our lives. Just seeing my mum really weak. Yeah, I think the hardest thing was when she literally turned around and said to me, if I go, like, can you look after my sister? And it was just... like, because my mum, like, is quite overweight. So going into the operation room, she had a higher risk of something happening. So the whole 2 hours, I was just praying that everything went successful. And I'm sorry. Sorry.
Don't be silly.
Yeah, and just hearing, like, the doctor call us and just say, listen, your mum's fine, she's in recovery, was...
No. This is a good start to the podcast. Everyone in the room is going to start crying.
My God.
No, like, I can imagine it is really hard to hear and deal with. Like, I don't know how old you were when this was happening.
Yeah, so it was a year and a half ago. So I was 22. So
it's really, really fresh then.
I actually filmed towards the end of her recovery, and we actually got a news in the villa saying that she's been in the hospital, and and she was really ill, and we didn't really know about it because my mum obviously didn't want to influence what was going on in the villa, you know. So hearing that she was in the hospital and we couldn't do anything, we were in a different country, hurt us so much. But the whole production team was amazing to let us like call her every day. So yeah. Sorry.
No, don't be silly. Like, it's I think one of those things is it was breast cancer that your mum had. And I think, you know, it's weird because breast cancer is so common and we all know somebody in one way or another that's been affected by it. But, you know, from my experience when hearing my mum be diagnosed with the big C, and you just sit there and you always think it will never happen to you. It's always somebody else's family, or it's always somebody on the TV. And then when it actually happens to you, especially at a young age, and you don't really know what to do. And like I feel like in our culture, it's always, you know, down to like the children have to really step up. Take, you know, like you said, take care of siblings, take care of parents. And I think it's really hard, especially as a woman, to watch the woman who raised you always be so strong to then not.
Definitely.
And then how did that impact you?
Oh, like I became so much stronger after the whole, because I was like I don't know how to explain it, but when you're going through it, it's like when your mum's going through it, you feel like you're going through it. So like, sorry.
No, don't be silly.
So in your brain, your mum's like the person.
Superwoman.
Yeah. She does everything, you know. She doesn't need anyone. But now that this has happened, she's a lot more weaker when it comes to mentally, because she's having to go on these medications that have to stop the cancer from coming back. And she has the cancer that is lymphedema, I believe. Yeah. So she didn't know she had cancer. Like it was a rash. She literally had a rash, and not a lot of women know that a rash can be cancer, you know. Yeah. So that is what my mum did after she had it. She went onto Facebook and she raised awareness that if you have a rash or if you have any redness, it means something bad. So you need to go and get it checked out. And basically she went to the doctors, I think 6 months prior to them telling her that she has cancer. And she went to the hospital and they said, you've got absolutely nothing wrong with you. You've just got an allergic reaction. So she said, oh, okay, that's fine. 3 months after, it got worse. And she's like, no, listen, something's up. Like, and the guy's like, oh, well, just come in and let me check. He checked, he's like, nothing. You're absolutely fine. Gave her medication. And then 6 months later, she went and she said, I need to get a scan, you know. They got a scan and it turns out it was stage 3, yeah. But yeah, I mean, seeing her weak, definitely, like, we're siblings of 3. So, like, yeah, just seeing our mum like that and not being able to go and do stuff like she used to prior to cancer.
It's weird because I feel like especially when it comes to like breast cancer, there's a lot of different symptoms that people don't necessarily know about. And then usually, like from my experience as well, like my mum went to the doctor. So my mum had bowel cancer.
Oh, sorry.
When my mum, she's fine. I was really fortunate we caught it very early and she's been like fine for a long time. But, you know, I remember the whole story with her is that because it was in her bowel, they were like, oh, you know, you're just constipated. And like we're giving her drugs to help move her along and nothing was happening. And she was like, you know in your own body when something's not right. And it's a fact you don't get believed until, like, you know, you said it went all the way to stage 3.
Literally, yeah.
Before it got believed. Like, you know, there's a sense of like anger you feel because, you know, your mum might not have had to have such like traumatic treatment had she been listened to the first time round.
Exactly.
But like, how do you like cope like thinking about that and like with your mum's emotions when she thinks about things like that? Like, how have you managed with that?
I think if the doctors could have done what they were supposed to do, a lot of things could have been different, you know. And we were angry at the world because we're like, why like us, and why has the doctor not done anything sooner, you know? But I think, listen, people do make mistakes, and I know the mistake can pay a big price, like, and it did. But I'm just so grateful for my mum to be on the right road now. We're getting the best support from a scientist in London. So yeah, it's all good, looking positive.
It's really nice to hear that, like, even though it was hard, that your mum's in remission, and it probably brought your siblings closer to each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things with cancer that, you know, it can make or break families, and it's really nice to hear that it's like helped make yours.
Yeah.
Do you think like going on from your mum's journey, do you think that maybe like there's something for you to do in that like area?
Honestly, I would love to do something in breast cancer community, whether it's like running, is it
Race for Life?
Yeah, whether it's Race for Life.
Hannah's self-plugged there.
Hey! And yeah, I'd definitely love to do something like that, because I think it does need to be raise awareness a lot more than what it has. Yeah.
Obviously, that was a very emotional and heavy part of the podcast. And I obviously don't want it to just be like everyone in the room is emotional. I know your brother won't admit it, but it's very emotional in this room. And obviously, I don't want it to just be like, you know, leave this podcast like on a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like I don't know a lot about you, even though like conversation has been very easy.
Yeah.
But like, I just want to know more about Alara. So, you know, you have no issues with talking. So feel free to tell us and me a bit more like about you. And
yeah. So I grew up in Cyprus, and then my parents separated, which meant my mum came to the UK. My dad stayed in Cyprus. Then my mum met someone in the UK, and we went to Dubai for 4 years. We lived in Dubai. And we were so grateful. Honestly, it is a different world out there.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And it's so male orientated. Like I'm a feminist. So like going into a shop, like you would go into a mall and they would serve the male first instead of the woman. And that's not me, you know?
Yeah.
That's one thing I didn't like about it. But I was 14 years of age when I was in Dubai. So I didn't get to live the full Dubai experience.
But then you also got to come to the UK and have a driving license. So
yeah. Should I tell you a little secret?
Oh, God. I love secrets.
I don't know how to drive.
Oh, well, that was wasted on you.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, it's by choice, obviously. I think because I've had so much going on, I haven't had time to drive. And I'm so scared to drive, like, because you're not control of other people driving into you. Like,
oh, don't I know it?
And like growing up in Cyprus and seeing the car crashes and stuff, I don't want to be in any of that.
I've only ever been to Cyprus on a holiday as a kid, so I actually don't know about what it's like to live in Cyprus. Like, how does that differ to like UK culture and like transitioning to...
Yeah, so a lot of people go to the Greek side of Cyprus, but the north side has a lot more heart to it and it's a lot more cultural. This is how I can explain it. If you don't have a house and you're thirsty, you're hungry, you literally can knock on anyone's door and they'll give their bed and their car. Like, they're so giving. And that's what I love about the Turkish side. And to be brought up in the Turkish side of Cyprus and come here, it's so, because people don't say hello in the streets, you know? They're so...
Can you imagine knocking on someone's door in London? There is no way that you get that.
When I came from Cyprus to the UK, I literally went into primary and I started hugging and kissing people. And they were like, sorry, like, why are you kissing me on my cheek? I'm like, isn't that what you do? And I didn't know any English. So I actually got really bullied in primary and secondary because I didn't know English. Yeah.
That must be really tough though, as like, I don't even know if this is like the right phrase, like being an immigrant child. That must be really tough if you don't know how to speak the language of the country you've moved to.
Yeah, I was just sign language and everything basically, because all I knew was hello, okay, 1, 2, 3, that was it. But people don't believe me now because I have such a British accent.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Like, if you told me you'd spent most of your time in London, I would have been like, yeah, that's like, I could see that. But did you find that like a really lonely period of your life? Because being a teenager is hard enough as it is. Yeah. So, like, especially if you can't speak the language, do you feel really isolated and lonely?
Oh, yeah, 100%. A lot of my high school, I didn't have friends. I was the type of person that would go up to people and try and make friends, but I did not have friends. And I actually literally... I wore Velcro kickers, right? Because I asked my mum, I was like, Mum, could you get me these kickers? Everyone's wearing it. You know, they're lace-up ones.
Yeah.
And she went and got me Velcro. She got me Velcro and I got bullied every day for it. Every time I went past...
As soon as you said you wore Velcro shoes, I was like, in a British school, I was like, you're brave.
Honestly, every time I went, they'd just call me names and everything. But I don't know if you were ever bullied in school, but I think it molds you into the person you are. So I am grateful for the kids. Thank you. Whoever bullied me.
Shout out to the bullies. Like, no, it's like, I can imagine like it's really, because obviously there's people like, you know, that get bullied that English is there. Do you feel like maybe words didn't hurt you as much because you were just like, don't really understand what's going on?
No, trust me. Like, I got spat on as well. Like, it was physical as well. Yeah. Yeah, it was physical as well. But listen, it's okay because I am here and thriving. And they've all got kids or married, so...
Shots fired.
Yeah.
No, I think that's like, it's a good thing to like hear that, you know, you've come out the other side of it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the listeners of Girls Know Nothing are also young women, especially that have, you know, people that reach out to me have had experiences of bullying or feeling lonely or like mental health struggles. So it's like nice to hear that, you know, you have come on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And that there is kind of like light at the tunnel and it makes you into who you are and, you know, set you up for what you're doing now, basically.
Definitely.
But it's well, you know, you said you went to a school that you didn't know the language and now you have a degree.
Yeah. Legit, I know, what? All my teachers doubted me, you know. They were like, you're not going to go into uni. And I'm like, now look at me. Did you degree?
But like, it's hard. Like, I think it sucks a little bit when teachers doubt you because it doesn't really inspire like the next generation. Do you feel like it made school harder for you?
Do you know what? It actually motivated me after they told me to do better. School has always been hard. Listen, I'm not I'm a lot more creative than
academic.
See, do you know what it is? I know the Turkish word, but the English word, I'm like, what is that?
If you said it to me in Turkish, I'd just be like, yeah.
Literally. I've always been good at sports, arts, you know, creative media, but like history, science has never been my strong point. And I think a lot of girls, like my little sister and their friends, can relate where they're not academic, you know, and they're a lot more better in creative things. So...
I think it just goes to show, like, you know, a lot of people that have sat in your chair have either hated school, kicked out of school, dropped out of university, all these things. And like, you know, they've worked hard to be who they are now. And I think that's something that people need to hear about more.
Definitely.
That it's not just like, you know, I don't even know what it is now, 1 to 7 on your piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's more about heart and drive and like
100%.
finding something you're passionate about. And I guess that's, you know, why you went into like, is that what inspired you to go into fashion because you're more creative than...
So seeing my mum and my dad doing what they love inspired me to do what I want because I don't want to wake up and think, shit, I have to go into work again. I want to get up and be like, I've got work, I'm excited, what's going on, you know? So yeah, I think having a degree, amazing, but you don't need a degree. It's who you are as a person, it's your drive, how hard you're willing to work. That makes you where you want to get in life, you know? So I wouldn't say go to university, just do what you want. And I think I wanted to party a lot more than get this degree. That's why I went to uni.
Everyone wants to do freshers. I think that's why I wanted to go to uni, to be honest.
Yeah, I wanted to stay, but failed the year, you know?
Oh, no. But then, like, what, so you failed your year?
No. I would want to stay longer in uni.
Would not recommend doing that. It's very expensive. But no, like, it's nice, though, that to hear that you... I don't know very many people that get up in the morning and think, yes, I get to go to work. Like, everyone... Even I've done it at times, I'm like,
yeah.
Work again. But it's not... Like, I feel like now, doing what I do now, like, it's... You feel more driven to actually achieve something because you enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And it makes life generally a lot easier.
Yeah.
So like, obviously I know from experience, like when you come off TV, it's a massive whirlwind and it's very easy to get like sucked into like the glitz and glamour of what you think life should be like. But you know, I know exactly what it's like when you come out and you're like, actually, this is not what I want to do. And like trying to figure out who you are and rebrand and kind of stay in the glitz and glamour side. So like, you know, I've heard you now a HLD girl.
Hey!
Welcome to the family.
Only the best.
Literally. So like, what do you see kind of like, what is in your head? Like, you know, we spoke about long-term goals, but like next 12 months, like what's the plan for Alara?
I would love to like build relationships with brands and do collaborations. I would love to go to events and just I don't know, like socialize, live the the life
the
that
dream.
you live.
It's really not that glamorous, to be honest.
Actually, my brother and I were thinking of doing a podcast too. Yeah.
I'm just like trying to get myself an invite to this. No, like I think, but you know, feel free to name drop. But like, you know, what kind of like brands and things you like are like your dream brands to like work with?
My dream is Manor Devoir. Like they are my favourite. Like it's Reese Rivera that is the owner. And the designs are my style to a T.
What other brands? Is it just Manor Devoir? Like there must be like a whole list, because in my head, I've got it in my notes on my phone, like dream brands, like goals that I want to set myself.
Yeah, I mean, Balenciaga, come on, who wouldn't want to work
She's
with Balenciaga?
not going for the small brands here. She's going straight in for the big ones.
No, and Boohoo Man, I love what they do. And I love wearing my brother's clothes that are from Boohoo Man. So, yeah, they're definitely...
Normally it's sisters that steal each other's wardrobes, just not
Honestly,
in this.
I live in my brother's T-shirts that are from Boohoo Man, yeah.
It's probably why you found dated and related so easy to do, because my brother would like stay away from me. Like,
I mean, he wears my clothes too.
yeah, I can see you rocking the corset, to be
No, not the corset, baby.
But like, you know, like what's like, there are so many different types of events as well. Like what works for you? Like what do you see yourself doing? Event wise, like where do you want to be seen at? Like if someone said to you, here's an invite to your dream event.
Oh my gosh. As soon as you said that, something popped into my head.
Go on.
London Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. They are like those are my dream events to go to. Like just getting the invites to just go there would be my dream come true. Like
I guess everything fashion for you, right? So you're probably in the right industry. Like
yeah, I would love to go into TV as well. Yeah, I think.
What, reality TV, or like do you want to do something different?
Like
Bake Off.
Oh, I can't cook, but I can try. Listen, God loves a trier.
Oh God. So what, did your mum never teach you to cook? I thought it's such a cultural thing.
I know. The only thing I can cook is pasta. And I mean,
that's a uni student speaking right there.
Uni, that's all I did. Noodles, spaghetti, that's it. I mean, is noodles cooking? I don't think so.
If it's coming from a pot and you put kettle water in it, it's not cooking. Like
no.
So every person that sits in that chair, I ask a final question to. And, you know, if you watched the podcast, you'd have been prepared. Out digging you out. So I always ask people that sit in that chair, what would you say to people that doubt you, your current success and your future success based on the fact you're a woman?
Don't give up and chase your... I know this is so cliche to say, but don't give up. Have a drive. I think the biggest thing I can say is manifest. One thing that I always did is write 5 things 5 times every time I wake up. And I tell you now, everything on that list I've done is accomplished. And yeah, I always say this sentence as well. I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. I know it's cringy. I know you're probably laughing at me.
She's got live, laugh, love above her bed in her bedroom.
No. But I promise you, and you only say this sentence when you're in a good mood, when, you know, something positive is happening to you. Say it. And I promise you, whatever you want, you can get.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, apart from that was like so cheesy. No, I love it. No, it is. It's all about, like, I do think manifestation's a massive thing. And, you know, I'm really grateful for you being so open and honest about your life so far and your experiences with your mum's cancer on my podcast. And I'm sorry for making you cry.
No, I'm sorry for making you cry.
And I'm sorry to everyone else in the room for making them cry too. But no, honestly, thank you so much. And it's been amazing to meet you. And I can't wait to see what you do with the first year post-dated and related.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely talking to you.
Yay!
Yeah.
I almost emptied this glass onto her head then.